I have never seen more interest in the game of rugby league in this country as there is here now. Origin football is something special. It's already captured the Kiwis' hearts.
Your grandparents just would have, it was probably as much of a kick, if not, I don't know, more of a kick than playing for the All Blacks even.
They were more excited and more smiles when I announced that I was going to play for Samoa.
Origin in New Zealand, would you go?
This sounds ridiculous and stupid and a bit pedantic. I wouldn't go out of protest. I don't think it should be in New Zealand. It has nothing to do with us. Why the heck would you bring it here?
Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Wow, there you go. He was forward.
Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin, Devlin, Lachlan Waugh, another episode of the DSPN. When I say another episode, we're inching toward 50 episodes now. If you like what you're listening to on Rova or wherever you're hearing this podcast, or if you're watching us on YouTube, then please, we need your help. You are part of our marketing arm. I mean, word of mouth. If you like it, then there's probably somebody else you know that also might like it. So hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Really does help. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. That is a big thing for us on this side of the microphone. Like, share, leave us a comment. Tomorrow on Friday, we're going to have fan forum feedback where we go through your comments and comment on the comments. But again, if you're liking it, tell somebody else about it. We really do need you to do that for us. Special guests on the show today, Charlie Faumuina, joining us for a good long sit-down all about his remarkable career, both here and in France. He played for the All Blacks at the 2015 Rugby World Cup, part of that amazing All Black side that just couldn't really lose. He also played for Samoa at the 2023 event in France. So Graham Lowe is on the program talking Origin and getting a game here. I know this has come up before, but Lowie reckons it's going to happen. We'll explain all about that in a couple of minutes. Tight 5 topics. We're going to talk the Black Caps. Yes! I said yesterday, believe in the Black Caps. What do? We smacked Pakistan. Sky now whacking the prices up. Is it worth it? Emma Raducanu's creepy stalker guy that's putting her off playing tennis. All the Super Rugby side's name for the weekend as well. We begin the show the same way every day.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
League fans, would you love to see a State of Origin match here in New Zealand? Would you go along knowing that it is 2 Aussie teams with only Aussie players playing? Yes, it's an idea, as I said, that has been floated before, but it's been recently revived with Sir Graham Lowe, Lowie, the only Kiwi to ever coach either the Cockroaches or the Cane Toads. He's leading the charge, saying, I quote, plans are well advanced. He also has the support of Sports Minister Mark Mitchell. Origin is one of the biggest sporting events in Oz, also very popular here, even though no Kiwi players are ever eligible to play in it. The history, the bitterness of the rivalry, the actual and very real hate that exists between New South Wales and Queensland only propels the occasion every year to be bigger than it was the previous. It is exponential, the series, and it's looking more and more likely that we might just get one of the 3 matches over here. Just not quite sure exactly where. Sir Lowie is pushing for it to happen next year and at the new Te Kaha Stadium in Christchurch. Knowing how these things work, though, I reckon that the ARL will probably push for the biggest venue where they can glean the most revenue, so maybe more likely to be Eden Park. Whatever, wherever, it's more about whether you like the concept and would you support it by shelling out your own cash to go along. From Parramatta to Coolangatta, it's as Aussie as a doona and a schooner. State against state, mate against mate, ladies a plate, blokes a crate, and it might just be happening at our place.
Devlin.
Well, this is the first time that we have conducted an interview in here in the Big Suite. And what a special privilege to have you here, Charlie Faumuina. And you've just had such a remarkable career, and I'm going to go through some facts and figures, but welcome, my friend, to start with.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been awesome, but yeah, it's an honour to be in the big room with you, Martin, so thanks for having me.
Let me go through some stats to start with. Auckland, 50 appearances for the NPC side, 99 for the Blues.
Yeah, gutted about that.
99 for the Blues. Toulouse, 129. Which is just incredible, to play that amount of rugby in France as well. Obviously debuted for the All Blacks in 2012. 2015, part of that Rugby World Cup squad. You played throughout that tournament as well. And then you sit down, and then you went back after that, sit down 3 years out and played for Samoa as well.
Yeah, that's how.
It's a hell of a career, man.
Thanks for that. Obviously, it's not, I kind of just went with the flow, and wherever the opportunities kind of come, I just kind of went with it, so.
When you first started, did you think you'd have such a professional career and that would be your job?
Nah. How my rugby career kind of come about, I wasn't in the flash schools for rugby or I was just playing club rugby, and I kind of got picked up that way. So, man, all I wanted to do was be a builder, and then obviously a couple of years out of school, an opportunity to come to play for Auckland through the academy system, and then obviously ITM. But I never thought I'd play 300 games professionally, but yeah, it's just how it come about. So,
and when it started and you started to get on that train, and then you started to think, hang on a second, I can actually make a living from this. How did it actually change you at that time? Did it actually change you in terms of, right, I've got to get really serious about this? This is actually my profession now? Yeah,
it probably was maybe 2 years into ITM. I guess like how I come about, I always kind of second guess myself. I didn't think I kind of belonged there, but after having a few meetings with crucial people and obviously Super Rugby coaches, All Black coaches, they kind of made me realise that this could be a long-term thing. So yeah.
Who are your kind of mentors? Who are the people that you trusted the most at that time?
When I was young, probably Mike Casey, who was our scrum coach. Everyone calls him Machine. He was probably a big influence. Pat Lamb back then. And obviously we went straight into Super Rugby with Pat Lamb, so they were probably the biggest influences. And obviously once I started getting on the radar for the All Blacks, Mike Cron and Gilbert Enoka were awesome for me. So yeah.
I want to ask you about Mike Cron, about the scrum guru, because I've spoken to him a lot, but whatever it is, he's just, well, let's talk about it now. He's just a genius about this, isn't he?
Yeah, I think, obviously scrums, there's lots of little things about it, but he just... it's all the little details that he comes from, or that he knows, that when he goes to other sports, he brings it back and makes us kind of understand more what we're doing with our bodies. Because obviously when you're young, you're just trying to hit as hard as you can and all that kind of dark secret stuff. But he just kind of makes you just simplifies it, which is probably the best part. Yeah.
So when you started playing your rugby, what club were you playing for?
When I come out of school, I was playing for Papatoe. Back then, there were 2 divisions in the Auckland competition, and then I decided my second year I'll go play for Otahu, and from there, that's where I got picked up. So
started to get some recognition from there.
Yeah, we had a couple of guys that were playing. They were in the academy team for Auckland, and when the coaches come to watch them play, they got to see me play. So you got a chance like that.
So when did you start getting really big and strong and doing this?
I think, I've always been a big kid.
Yeah.
I've always all my life, I've been just trying to get smaller. So the size was never a problem for me. I was just always trying to...
You're never going to play halfback, were
Nah,
you?
mate. Yeah. So.
Tell us a bit about your background as well, because, a lot of Pacific Island families, a lot of Samoan families came here during the 1970s. And we had a family, the females next to us in Upper Hutt, which was the first time that I'd ever encountered anyone from the Pacific Islands. And what I remember over the back fence is that the house always got bigger. There's another room on there, more family members coming. And it was just something, it was just amazing for our neighbourhood, because there was always people around. But that whole familial thing and that connection back home and coming here, uprooting and all of that. Was your family involved in all of that too?
Yeah, it would have to be my parents were the first generation here. Obviously, we were the first generation born here, but exactly like that. Mum and Dad moved here when they were 1920s. Obviously,
wow, that's young.
Whether it's an opportunity from the government or and they just, like you said, they all moved in with uncles and aunties and just made it work. And I think all my life, my dad or my parents had that house that everyone kind of
hung around.
Yeah, so the double garage turned into 3 bedrooms, and it just became the house where everyone, if they needed a place to stay, everyone would come to our house. So.
And did you get because you can't have a career like this without a huge work ethic? Did you get that from your parents? Do you credit them with the hard work that they put in?
Yeah, I think so. Like my dad. Yeah, every day he was up at off to work early hours, wouldn't see him till later in the afternoon, and be there Saturday. But one cool thing I always liked about my dad was that come Saturday, he would always, obviously I had 3 brothers, so he'd always go and try to get to one half for the little brother, second half for my second brother, and then try to get to my half by the end of the day. And he always supported us through rugby, so I really appreciated his that upbringing and that support, I guess. Yeah.
So, when you're playing for the Blues, why did it end on 99?
I don't know. I actually miscounted it. So obviously, on the last year, I was trying to make sure that I hit the 100.
Raise your bat.
yeah, to raise my bat. But on the booklets it was wrong. And that's what we were going off the booklets.
That guy got it wrong. No.
So, come down to like the last 3 games, and I was like, oh, sweet as I'll probably end up playing the last 3. And the manager was like, no, you're on. You're going to be one less. So I was obviously gutted, and there was a game too that when the Blues went to Samoa to play the Reds, they told me, oh, you can have this one off. I was a little bit sick, but I could have played. But they said, oh, we'll rest you up to come back and play after. And I was gutted when I looked back. I was like, I could have got it, but just the way it went.
Yeah, God, they should give you an honorary name up on the board there. And then getting selected for the All Blacks, tell us about that. What a feeling that must be, mate.
Oh, it's crazy. I think, by then it was 3-4 years building up to trying to fulfill this dream of being an All Black, and got an opportunity in 2012. Got injured just before the June test, but they still wanted me to come into the camp to see what it was like. And then come August, September, the championship, then I obviously got an opportunity to play against Argentina. So
yeah. He scored a try too against England. Awesome.
It was crazy. It wasn't real till I crossed that white line and you understand like all the sacrifices and all the things that you worked for. Just come to fruition. And
then standing out there playing a test match and then hearing the national anthem and everything like that, does it, I mean, even now, does it tingle? Yeah,
doing the huck. Even just like, obviously now I'm all done and just watching it, and you can, it brings all that emotion and all those feelings back. So,
yep. And then, of course, so that 2015 Rugby World Cup and playing in that side, we were so dominant then as a team and as a squad. Did you always feel when you went out there that you're going to win every game? I mean, what was the mentality of that side?
I think we were always confident that we could win. It was never obviously guaranteed. There was always some tough, I think every year there was a new foe that we were trying to beat. But I always just, I appreciated my time because when I was in the ABs, it was always, every year there was a new goal, there was a new objective. We weren't happy just to sit there. We were just trying to be the next best thing or best team or whatever it was that the goal was. They kept that drive in us to keep going.
So Steve Hansen was all about that, was he?
Yeah.
It wasn't about what you did last year, it's what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, I think, just to give you like an example, I think our first couple of years, like we wanted to be the best, the team playing internationally, and then we got there, then we wanted to be the best All Black team. We got there, we wanted to be the best team, like full stop, in all sports. And it was all off the back of winning percentages.
Yep.
And then we just slowly ticked off all these things. And, I don't know what they did after I left, but, during my time, it was always just, we were never finished. It was always...
So is that, I suppose, part of his motivation is just to give you continually targets to set, and always setting more targets for you?
Yeah, I think that's the way I saw it. Like, you never got comfortable. Like,
right.
We were winning games. We were the best team, but there was another to go unbeaten all season.
That's right. Yeah.
So there was never, if you're trying to go unbeaten all season, you couldn't be off 1 week. It didn't matter if you played Italy. Like some of the teams that weren't the best teams, but they would push us right to the brink. Like the last.
You got a target on the back, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, it was always. It was awesome. That
2015 Rugby World Cup, and when you look back at it now, I look at that moment that Jerome did the smackdown in the French quarterfinal in that opening minute, man. That was a moment, wasn't it? That was a real statement moment. I loved that guy. He was so good at 2 World Cups for us, man. Yeah. He shut that blind right down, eh? He killed it.
Yeah. Oh, man, I played a lot of games with that man, and just being able to play behind him has been just makes it that much easier. So.
And then when it came to semi-final against South Africa, we're down to 14. DC kicks that drop goal. It was a bit touch and go at that stage.
Oh, man.
And then we look back at it and we think that we won it easy, but it wasn't, was it?
Nah. Man, that was a tough game. Like even for, obviously I come off the bench, so and they were trying to run it out, and obviously they missed that penalty kick that would have, I think, put them ahead. But man, it was touch and go that last 10 minutes, and man, I was nervous that whole game. Just I didn't want to give a penalty for them to get an easy out. But we managed to just shut them down in their 22, and yeah.
And when you're there for the final, being with all your mates and that, and everything that you've worked towards, and that final whistle goes in that World Cup final, and you realise that you're a world champion, man. I mean, I know what it feels like to be a fan watching. I can't even imagine what it must be like to actually be playing and be part of all of that.
I think just the journey, like the journey with those men, how much it meant, how much we sacrificed, how much we. Just how much work we put into each other, just to finally get that, or to finally win that game, it just meant a lot. So yeah.
Did you always want to play overseas in France or in Europe, or did that just come along naturally as all part of this?
No, I think I always wanted to play in Europe. Obviously, France is where the props tend to go.
They love their props, man, don't they?
So obviously when you're young, you never really get to travel, or like to do an OE and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I definitely wanted to go to France. It's my place. Obviously Japan and UK. UK was good as well, but it's a little bit colder in the UK than France. So I managed to find a place in the south of France, which is good. In the winter, it's nice blue skies, a little bit cold, but you still see the sun. So
just as an experience for you and your family, is that just something that money can't buy, living in another country like that, experiencing that?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, there's more family time too. Like, we don't do any big tours. You go away and you come back after the game straight away. So you're not away for a whole weekend.
Right.
So yeah, it was just like that. And obviously, like being away with my family, getting to see all these other places with my family was... special, obviously financially too. Like
of course, man. No, it sets you up.
It
sets you up. You know, that's the whole point.
Yeah, so from all those kind of things, and plus by the time I was almost 10 years at the Blues, and it just kind of, I think my journey kind of just plateaued or become a little bit stale just with the Blues a little bit, and I think I just needed something different. I wouldn't want to go and play for another Super Rugby team. Too much beef and rivalry, I think, with everyone. But so I decided to go overseas.
How do you fathom whatever it is to be able to counter the aggression and the physicality of actually doing this? Because the French league is a real physical league. It's really aggressive. You're playing against guys that are jipping you. They're probably biting you. They're probably doing all this kind of stuff to you. And you seem like such a nice, malleable guy, but you're playing in the most physical role in this, which is a real confrontational role. So how do you get yourself up for that mentally and emotionally as much as anything else?
I like to think that I kind of thrived in that environment. Obviously in France it was a little bit slower, the game wasn't as fast as Super Rugby, but the collisions and all that kind of side, a guy my size, it's my cup of tea. So I enjoyed it. It was, man, you're playing with, I think the average weight in Super Rugby for the big boys would probably be 120, 15 kilos. You got guys up there 140, 50 kilos. Like,
wow,
you just got big men. Obviously, like they like their set piece, so that's why they try and get these big boys. But yeah, kind of suited me towards the end of my career where I wasn't the smallest guy, so I fitted right in over there. So.
And also, you didn't have to be as mobile, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot more scrums and mauls, but less running.
And did they try and intimidate you at all? How do you handle that side of it?
No, man. I loved you. You get mixed messages with the French. A lot of guys have an awesome time, and then some guys like miserable, like worst part of their career. But where I landed and the team I was a part of, it was awesome.
And then, of course, you have to sit down, and we were discussing this before, we started doing the interview and that, and, it's, to me, it's been something that the IRB or World Rugby dragged the chain on. It's the best thing that they could have possibly introduced, because I'm old enough to remember that Manu Samoan side in 1991, and it set that World Cup alight, and World Rugby embraced it, supposedly, and this is the greatest thing that's happened. And yet when you look, 30-something years down the track, how much has it changed? How much investment has gone into Samoan rugby? How players have been plucked to play for all other countries around the world, but the national team still operates with a pretty low budget and everything else, and it's not like anyone's really done a hell of a lot to elevate our teams in the Pacific, who, if you look at on paper, talent-wise, could be making. Well, Fiji made quarterfinals the last World Cup. Yeah. Trying to make semi-finals and things, and so you had to sit out for 3 years, and then you went back and played for Manu Samoa. So how was that?
Yeah, I was already overseas. By the time I got there, I was 5 years out. But yeah, awesome. When Mapusua was the coach, I ended up calling him, or got my agent to call him, because I was really keen to be a part of the team. And he said he just thought with my career and where I was at, I wasn't keen to continue to play. But he had me, he got me in, and like I was saying before, like it shocked me just how much it meant to play for Samoa, just to be able to represent where mum and dad and my grandma and granddad come from. The rugby part was rugby, but the attachment emotionally back home was awesome.
And for them, and I imagine that the older generations just would have absolutely loved it, wouldn't they? Like your grandparents just would have. It was probably as much of a kick, if not, I don't know, more of a kick than playing for the All Blacks even. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for them, they were more excited and more smiles when I announced that I was going to play for Samoa. So, and it's fair, like that's where they grew up, and they would have been back in that 91, the 95 team, and seeing how successful they were. They're just hoping that that our team can follow suit. So yeah.
Look, when I don't know if you're a big NFL fan, but when I was watching the Super Bowl and Mailata wins the Super Bowl, and the first thing I thought, wow, I bet every single person connected to him through his family and stuff. What an honour! What an honour, eh? Yeah,
exactly. Just like everyone knows now, like he represents that Samoan flag now, and everyone, I think everyone's an Eagles fan now. So oh mate, but it's just putting our culture and our, you got to understand like where we've, like our parents, grandparents have come to another country, had to learn another language to put like our generation and the future generations into
trying to make it better for
us. Yeah. So. You just think back 2 generations, how much he sacrificed. That's all coming to fruition. So
Let's just press pause for a second, people. That's not the whole of the interview. We've got much more to go with Charlie Faumuina. If you want to watch the whole interview, jump on our YouTube channel, DSPN, or you can listen to the whole interview on Rova. Huge amount still to come, and it's well worth it.
The Tide 5.
5 separate sporting topics in Lachlan, roughly 90 seconds on each. When the bell reminds us, on to the next topic we go. Black Caps, I said yesterday, do you believe? Well, what a performance that was from our blokes. Also Bangladesh versus India tonight. Sky now are whacking up their prices in March. Is it really value for money? Because they're saying, we bring you all of this great sport. I want to comment about that. Emma Raducanu's creepy guy who got removed from the Dubai International Tennis Tournament for, I quote, exhibiting fixated behaviour while she was on the court. Tiger Woods says that he's just experienced the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to him in golf. And Origin in New Zealand, as Graham Lowe says, would you go? Would you pay the money to go? Let's talk about the Black Caps. 2 centuries. Glenn Phillips on form, and we smacked them up. We won by 48, 50 runs or something. 320. Anytime it was
60 runs.
60 runs. Anytime that you get over 300 in any one day, you just put so much scoreboard pressure on the opponent. I love that, scoreboard pressure. And it means that they have to, from the very off, start whacking away at it. We bowled them all out. That's a really good way to start the tournament. Now we play Bangladesh next on Monday. We've got India after that. We beat Bangladesh. We're in the semi-finals of this tournament. I can feel a White Ferns coming on.
Well, no, in defence of the Black Caps, the White Ferns pretty much lost 18 of 21 matches they lost ahead of that World Cup last year.
Got momentum in
and
the
2 of those 3
they?
wins were dead rubbers, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves correct.
Yes.
The Black Caps' form has been a bit better, so let's respect them there. Look, we were saying this about the warm-ups. The form doesn't matter unless they can actually turn it into wins at this tournament. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I was vehemently declaring...
You were sceptical?
Well, no, I was happily from the mountaintop, as you would say, to start off the podcast, declaring that the Black Caps are going to lose to Pakistan to start the tournament. Well, I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong.
There you go.
Good performance, scoreboard pressure, over 300, 2 centuries. Glenn Phillips as well with a half century. No, brilliant performance. It's all you can ask for. Now keep going. Keep building.
Yeah, and on the way is Kyle Jamieson, so extra sort of height that he brings, so extra bounce. I mean,
when he's healthy.
Well, he's been playing for Canterbury in our one day in white ball competitions here. Now, we're going to beat Bangladesh. We're in the semis, mate.
If we beat them.
We're going to beat Bangladesh on Monday.
Well,
what is more chance happening? We beat Bangladesh or Joseph beats Dubois?
Oh, we beat Bangladesh, without a doubt.
Sky now are putting up their prices. Now, I've still got Sky TV, and I keep saying to myself, I've got to cancel this.
So this doesn't affect you?
Well, I want Sky now because, look, I tell you what's frustrating is over the last couple of days, I've gone home. I've got 2 jobs now. I do the breakfast radio as well. I go home in the afternoon. I'm looking for something to watch. There's nothing on to watch, mate. And so now they're putting up the prices saying, we're bringing you all this great sport. Well, the Daytona 500 wasn't. I mean, there's so much stuff that you think you should have. The Champions League's not on there. All this stuff that you think, where is it? It used to be on. It's not there anymore. Is it worth it? You're a Sky Now customer.
No. Sky Sport Now, no, it's not worth it.
Are you going to pay more?
Well, I have to.
You have to.
I don't have a choice.
Because
I love rugby. I love the NRL.
I love the NRL.
I love the Premier League.
I love the golf majors.
Yeah, I love the majors.
There you go.
I get a good amount. And, I mean, the World Cup at the moment's on, the Champions Trophy, is on Sky.
Yeah. See, the NRL, you dummies, you should have NRL pass here in New Zealand. Should have it. Because it's ring fence, can't get it.
Yeah.
If Sky lose the rugby, it's over. Or if the rugby union decide to say, we're going to now stream it all on NZR Plus, it's over. Because I think most people have Sky for the rugby, don't they?
They've done this a number of times, have Sky where they've hiked up the prices. They do it in little increments. And this is only $5, but that's a lot of money in their pocket. And their argument, as you say, is always that, like I remember when Spark Sport shut down and Sky within a week or two pumped their prices up. Sky Sport Now's prices went up.
And what I say as well, when I was flicking the channels the other day, and I haven't commented on this deliberately because I used to be part of a program called The Game of Two Halves. Whoever has recreated that has just done the worst ever version. It's like a band covers another band's song. It is just the lamest, lame-assed,
well, it's different to
can't watch piece of TV. And I know that Julie Christie, who was behind the original version, has been hacking them about it as well. It's just not funny. It's just
well, it's
just
different.
Arse,
Look, it's different. There was a different.
I know the people who do this program, and I like those people, but it's just arse.
Well, it's different to what it once was, and the one that you were on many years ago
was quite amusing.
Well, it was good.
And people still talk about it.
But it towed the line of it, didn't it, with its humour, and you can't really do that in this day and age.
It's got to be family friendly. And guess what? No one's watching it. There's no one watching it on Sky. Emma Raducanu, and this is an awful story here. Emma Raducanu playing the Dubai Tennis International, lost a match overnight where she ends up going behind the umpire's chair, crying, loses the match. She bumped into some kind of really weird, creepy guy on the concourse, and then this guy targeted her, and this is the reports that I've read, I quote, exhibiting fixated behaviour while she's on the court. So obviously staring at her. Somebody's paid good ticket money to get in there to stare at her, but has obviously targeted her off the court as well by bumping into her. Now, she's had stalker problems in England in the past. Some guy walked 20 miles to her house or something like that. As a bloke, this is a difficult one to get your head around because obviously it's not something that happens to me, doesn't happen to you, but as a young woman who's an athlete, to have this kind of stuff happen, it just must be so awfully off-putting. Creepy.
And it's also something you've unfortunately probably got to get used to, which I assume is...
you?
Well, if you're that's just the world we live in. There's a lot. I mean, geez, it'd be wonderful if a woman could walk down Queen Street at night time in Auckland and know that she's safe. But that's not how the world works. If you've got good, you got evil, and it's the same with.
Why is that not the case? Why can't we have
because
a world
that's
where women
that's
can
what
walk around where
wow,
they
that's
want?
what humanity's been like for centuries, and it's never going to change. When there's good, there's bad. It's just the way it is. But with female athletes, it's pretty, I guess, unfortunate because a lot of them probably have to deal with things like this when they get men being creepy, because you don't really see the shoe's never really on the other foot where you read much about women doing it to men, do you?
Yeah, women stalking
it seems to happen a lot more with men doing it to women.
Apart from Baby Reindeer, if you ever watched that on Netflix.
Never had the pleasure of watching that, Martin. No, but no, it's a gross story, and
she said she's not going to be affected by it. Well, let's hope not.
Yeah,
because it's the kind of thing that would really put you off, get inside your head. And tennis, of course, when it's just you out there playing, if there's any demons going on inside there, I mean, we've seen it happen to a lot of tennis players in the past where they just can't wrestle them. Yeah, awful story. Let's move on to Origin in New Zealand. Would you go? Graham Lowe, bringing it here. You wouldn't go?
No. This sounds ridiculous and stupid and a bit pedantic. I wouldn't go out of protest. I don't think it should be in New Zealand. It has nothing to do with us. Why the heck would you bring it here?
Marketing, because there is a huge amount of league fans on the side of Tasman.
We have nothing to do with it.
Because it makes a whole lot of money.
We have nothing to do with State of Origin. We love it. Absolutely. It's very popular in New Zealand. I'm sure many people tough out that late night on a Wednesday and then the alarm on a Thursday feeling absolutely awful.
Yep.
But come on, this is like taking the Super Bowl to London.
Yeah,
Why?
that's actually a really good comparison, actually. It's good. Look, I if it was here And, I got some tickets and I was invited along. I'd probably go, but otherwise, I don't...
Typical Martin Devlin fashion. If you got wined and dined in the boxes.
Yeah. But I agree with you in terms of your argument about it being quintessentially Australian, and it is Australian. It's New South Wales and Queensland. It doesn't involve players from anywhere else, and it should never involve players from anywhere else because it's meant to be an Australian trial for the Kangaroos, right?
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's how it originated. It was meant to be that. But it's also, it's them and their state. Yeah, to me, it's like playing, in the height of the Auckland-Canterbury NPC rivalry, taking that game over to play it in Sydney.
Well, yeah, but
having said that, it is popular here, the Origin. That's
it is popular, but it's just something that, again, the original point, it's got nothing to do with us. It's Queensland versus New South Wales. Even then, you could argue it's got nothing to do with Western Australia, or maybe even Victoria's probably better because they're not really that into their rugby league compared to cricket and AFL. So no, it's absolutely pointless. They wouldn't earn more money, the NRL or Australian Rugby League or whoever I guess gets the majority of the cash. They wouldn't earn more if they brought it here. So why would you? And I tell you what, Australia would blimmin' hate it.
Final topic then. Tiger Woods says that this suffered what he calls one of the most embarrassing, if not embarrassing, episodes ever in golf. So he's playing TGL golf, and his caddy says it's 199 yards to the pin or whatever it is. He thought it was 99. He leaves the shot 100 yards short. Terribly embarrassing. See, I thought what would have been more embarrassing was cheating on your wife with 150 different women and her chasing you down the road with a golf club and smashing the window out of the car to get you out, and then the apology after. I thought that might have been a bit more embarrassing. But the thing that got me here is that, so his caddy says it's 99, and he hits it exactly 99. That's incredible, isn't it? That's how good he still is. So he's embarrassed because he's 100 yards short because he misheard it. But he shouldn't be embarrassed because he's actually hit it exactly where the guy told him to hit it at exactly the right distance.
Isn't that also an indication, and this absolutely falls on your lap as an old angry man, that this virtual golf shouldn't exist? Because if Tiger was on an actual course and he said it's 99, he would have gone, that's quite clearly further than 199, caddy. So
sack you again.
So maybe virtual golf isn't the future. There we go. We've solved something.
Solved it.
See, the Thai 5 is actually like a crime investigations unit.
And by the way, Man City, how about that? Lose to Real Madrid out of the Champions League. They rested Haaland. They rested De Bruyne. What do you say about that? Does that mean that Pep Guardiola says, I've given up
top
on that?
Four. Well, who are they playing this weekend? My team, who drew at Villa today. So now our points gap is 8. And if Arsenal win, because I assume Arsenal haven't played today, if Arsenal win,
we can feel it. You can feel the squeeze.
Well, then it's 5 points is the gap. It's not 7 anymore.
So he's actually trying to play his best 11 against you guys.
Who would Pep and Man City? Who would they rather win, Arsenal or Liverpool?
Well, the last thing they want is you to win, like the rest of the world.
What? No. Yeah. Okay. Everyone hates us. Well, why does everyone hate us? Because we win.
Because they win.
Yeah.
DSPN.
Rugby League, he's a great old mate. He's one of our favourites. I've known him for years. Just such a character, such an influential man in the sport of rugby league. He's still got his hand in, obviously, because a story over the last couple of days, Sir Graham Lowe is very confident of bringing a state against state, mate against mate Origin game here to New Zealand. Lowie, welcome back. This idea's been floated before. Why are you so confident that you and your people can get it over here?
Oh, how you doing, Marty? Good to be on the show. And the reason I'm confident is I think I've never seen more interest in the game of rugby league in this country as there is here now. And I think that there's just times when things are ready, and I think it's ready now. The number of Kiwi players playing over in Australia has got massive interest. The Warriors, I think, are going to have a good year this year. And Origin football is something special. It's already captured the Kiwis' hearts and minds, and they love watching it each year. And they've got their favourite teams. I hope it's all Queensland. But it's I think it's just time. It's time, Marty. And
okay.
I think personally, it'll be equal to any of the big sporting events, if not bigger, that's ever been in this country.
See, as soon as you say that, then what worries me is you'd like to see it at Takaha, the new Christchurch Stadium, next year or maybe the year after that. But I'm just thinking straight away, well, the ARL, who owns Origin, they've got the Sydney Olympic Stadium, 80,000. They've got the MCG, 100,000. They've got 55,000 at Suncorp. Surely they would want, if they brought it here, to put it in the biggest venue possible just for the revenue side of it, and that would be Eden Park, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that's a discussion we'd have with the NRL, and that's fair enough too. The Eden Park does hold 50,000 or whatever it might be, but the stadium, the new stadium in Christchurch, brings along something different. It's the latest state of art stadium of its size, and I think there's always more than one way to skin a cat. I mean, you've got Wellington there as well, so I think getting it in New Zealand is the main thing. We'll worry about the stadium later.
So where does it go from here? You've got to sit down with the relevant people. Is it a lot of dominoes to knock over, or is it something that if the right person gets this idea in their head that they can almost do this for you?
Well, it is only early in the process, Marty, but the first meeting that we've had has been with Mark Mitchell, the Minister of Sport, and Mark is super keen on the whole idea. He loves the whole idea. I've actually had discussions with him, sort of unofficial discussions for a number of years about what it could possibly look like. But we had a proper good chat with him just recently. He's all for it. With the NRL, we haven't contacted them yet because there's such a lot going on in the NRL with Vegas coming up. I don't think it's the appropriate time to worry Peter V'landys or Andrew Abdo about it at the moment. We'll do it next month. And we've already had a chat with the stadium people down in Christchurch. I'm sure the other stadiums would love to jump on board, but it's just at the early stage, and I think you've got to be brave, really, when you're looking at this type of thinking, and have people who are confident and brave around you.
That's exactly the same sentiment for those putting NRL bids in out of Christchurch, and also the Mana Pacifica bid as well. Yeah, I mean, you got to have people who are prepared to stick their neck out there against all the naysayers and the Doom Brigade and actually say, hey, I got an idea I want to do. Remember V'landys, mate? And I was one of the ones who was scorning him during the COVID thing where he said, we're going to get this sport up and running, and goddamn, he did it. Now he's doing a direct plea to the president. I mean, you got contacts, mate. Can you get in touch with Trumpy and say, look, V'landys has already said it, mate. Come to Vegas. Come and watch some league.
I've got to say, I saw that clip, and when I first saw it, I wondered if it was AI, because I think Peter V'landys didn't do himself any favours with that,
really?
that particular clip. Yeah, for me personally, I thought it was a bit cheesy. But mind you, I'll give Donald Trump a call if someone's got his number.
Talking about the Warriors, because you mentioned them earlier, just give us your thoughts finally on that then. So about the season, about the game against Canberra. I know it's hard to read anything into these pre-season games, but why are you so confident?
I think that, I've always been concerned in recent years about how the Warriors were looking, but there is something I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, Marty, except probably to say there's new players coming in. New players, and no matter whether the new players are better or not quite as good as the ones that weren't there, it adds a different chemistry to the team. I think they've already got a really good coach who had them on the right way with Andrew Webster. I think he's doing a great job, but I just like the look of just new combinations new combinations.
New
I
blood.
think
new players
can actually change how they're going.
A lot of people are picking them to get the spoon. In any sport, sometimes just the young guys, maybe it is their time. Alex Ferguson always used to say that, and he did pretty well with a whole bunch of youngsters that everyone wrote off.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marty, for those who have had a chance to watch that NRL pre-season, it just absolutely demonstrates what quality young players are coming through. I'm reluctant to say it, but it's true. Unfortunately, the coaches of all the NRL sides, I know, will not give most of these guys a go because they want to go with the tried and true conservative, no risk sort of player that's been there for years and years. I believe in putting the young guys in as many as you can, as quick as you can. And while they will give you a few heart flutters if you're a coach every now and then, they bring along a confidence, a flair, and a razzle-dazzle that I think has been apparent and showing in each game in that NRL pre-season.
So anyone that's picking them to get the wooden spoon, you're saying take a hike?
The Warriors are not going to get the wooden spoon. I'm sure of that. In fact, I think they will be up the other end of the competition.
Okay. All right, we can agree to disagree on V'landers. I just think anything at all that's promoting the sport at the moment, and some of the ideas are kooky and some of them are crazy, but what the hell? As you say, it's on a roll at the moment, and more power to you, mate. I mean, I'd love to see an Origin game here. I don't know whether it's ever going to happen. And the queerest thing about it is that none of our Kiwi players are playing in it, but yeah, for some reason it boils our blood, doesn't it? You're Queensland. I sit here on the other side of the fence. We give each other complete ape during that series every year. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's good, mate. And on Peter V'landys, I mean, how much of a great sporting administrator is this bloke? I mean, he nothing's a problem for him,
mate.
And you compare him against some of the stuff he knows sports administrators we see around the world. He's a breath of fresh air. He's just fantastic. And remember, he's also CEO of New South Wales Racing.
Yeah, not a bad couple of hats to wear. Always a pleasure having you on the show, mate.
Thank you very much, Marty. Good talking to you, mate.
That's our podcasting show for today. Again, if you're liking what you're listening and what you're seeing, then a small favour, if you will. Can you please hit like, share, subscribe, follow, tell a friend about it. We are a fledgling podcast and show, the DSPN, and we need you. And if you are participating, well, just click that subscribe button. That would help enormously. Thank you so much if you already have. Again, tell a friend if you like. We're doing this every single day, putting out a show every afternoon. The DSPN.
This is the DSPN.